So we made it to the airport, about to fly back to Saigon, and as usual, Vietjet Air is delayed. Anyway, we worked out how much Kyle paid during the trip for everything, expenses. I didn't count or keep track, but he did. I like that kid's jacket. Everyone, opportunity. That's a good habit to have. I definitely don't have that habit of tracking all my expenses.
Why not?
I do for business, but personal expenses, I think my expenses are so low, it doesn't make any difference to me. You know, I just know it's going to be like $800 a month or less, just normal everyday living expenses in Vietnam. So yeah, let's break it down. We did gas, hotels, and food, which of course are the main expenses. Was there anything else?
The flight back, we both paid around 1.7 million for a one-way flight, which is high because we booked it very last minute.
Yeah, if you plan ahead a bit better, then you should be able to get cheaper flights.
Yeah, so hotels for 12 days was $140, but it's because Alex and I stayed in hotels the majority of the time. Did a hostel for just 2 or 3 nights. We got separate private rooms each time, so had we shared a room, we could have easily halved 140 and made it 70 for 12 days, which would have been good.
Yeah, and even that, it's not too bad because we stayed, all the hotels that we stayed in were pretty good except that one in Quang Nai. Yeah, for me, I've just got to the point where I know I like a bit of alone time, so if you're hanging out with someone the whole day, it's nice to just have that relaxing time, so it's worth it for me.
Yeah, the hotels we stayed at were also pretty cheap, $13 to $15 a night.
Yeah, and you stayed at like the place in Hoi An was $20 a night. I stayed there for 3 nights, you stayed there for 2, and then your hotel in Da Nang was $25.
And that was on the beach, smack dab. So $25 is worth it.
Yeah, so you can kind of get a feel for if you stayed at a hostel every night, which you can, pretty much. Maybe in the smaller cities you might have to get a hotel room just because there aren't any hostels, but then it would be, you know, $7-8 for a hostel in a dorm room. So you can do it much more cheaply if you want.
But like he was saying, we just enjoy our alone time every day.
Yeah.
That's why we did it.
Cool, so gas?
Gas, $25 for the entire time. Not bad.
Not bad, and our bikes do about 120 kilometers for a full tank. Well, my bike, yeah.
My bike's, I don't know what's going on. I changed the spark plug in Dalat, made a little bit of a difference, but overall it's just really bad gas. It's just getting old.
Yeah, mine was just better overall and more powerful, even though it's the same bike, just different ages. But I mean, it's a few dollars each time you fill up, so $25 for... How far did we go? It must have been over 1,000 kilometers, eh? Because we did a lot of winding trips. We should have looked at our gauges.
I think it's around 2,270.
So it's crazy how little gas costs for that.
Yeah.
Actually insane. Those bikes are really solid. And 100% go for a Honda Blade or Honda Wave or something like that, because the people on the Honda Winds, oh my gosh.
Well, we met some guys in Quy Nhon who had Honda Winds for the experience of breaking down and the thrill of, oh, when's it gonna happen? And it happened. Well, it didn't break down, but one of them, their back wheel was just like loose. So whenever they go over the slow down little speed bumps, it would like jiggle him side to side. It was super dangerous. He finally got it fixed, but those Honda Winds, they look really cool, but people, they know they're gonna break down, but that's why they get those.
Yeah, so I was 100% happy with having a reliable bike. We didn't break down at all. That was great. Honda Blades, solid. And good on gas, I suppose. We probably spent less than those bikes, for sure. Anyway, so what's the last expense then?
And then food, I'm not a reliable food budget person for the general public because I eat a lot. Especially when I travel and I'm on vacation, I don't think about how much I'm spending. So for the whole 12 days, I spent $176, about $4 million.
Yeah, it could have been a lot less. So, I mean,
a lot of it came from that Quy Nhon hostel, Big Tree, where I ate a lot of meals at the hostel because there wasn't really a lot around there. And I spent $1 million there in food for 2 days.
Yeah. So I mean, you can do it cheaply. You saw on this trip, if you've been watching, we got $1 meals, $2 meals for like big plates of food for that price. We often ate double too, Kyle especially, and when you eat Western food, it can be a lot more expensive. So honestly, like you could easily do it on half that. I think I spent probably maybe half that. I had pizza the one time. Yeah, overall, so what was that in total?
$340, 7.7 million Vietnam dong.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, that was not even trying to save money, right? And I know I wasn't either. I was probably similar to you. That was a lot of fun for $370.
Totally worth it. Really looking forward to Da Nang to Sapa. And hopefully, well, you were saying that just the two of us was a good number. If we had like 4 or 5, it'd be too much, which I kind of agree.
Yeah, well, I think we also make good travel buddies. Yeah, you should probably consider who you take a motorbike road trip with. Because we get along and we kind of have similar thoughts on when we should kind of stop for lunch, and you know, it's just easy to coordinate. It was so funny, those girls that we met at the hostel, I was sitting at the table when they were discussing their plans, and it was so funny because there's this 4-way conversation that took about 30 minutes to decide one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, I feel like this and I feel like that, and but maybe this and maybe. It was so hilarious. We were just like, well, should we do this?
Even the two of us, like the Saigon hostel in Hoi An was like, that's just 2 people. Imagine 4 of us.
Yeah, so I would say like a smallish group. 3 could be quite cool just to like have a bit more people. 4 maybe. I wouldn't try and do much more than that. An amazing trip, and the next time we go on a trip, we'll probably try and do Da Nang to Hanoi, and that will be another awesome trip.
Da Nang to Sapa.
Da Nang to Sapa, all the way.
Da Nang to China.
To
Da Nang
China.
to Beijing.
You know what's hilarious? You know, I watched Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, the original one, and the main character, who's it played by?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Charlie Sheen. In that movie, he's making like millions of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then he says to his super hot girlfriend, you know, I think in the next few years, when I turn 30, I'm going to retire, get out of this racket, buy a motorcycle, and ride across China. And it's so funny because that's the mentality that you've got to wait until you retire to be able to afford and take the time to take a motorbike trip across Asia or China or whatever. But if you're out in Vietnam, living here, teaching English, you can do a couple of weeks and drive halfway across the country, and it's one of the coolest things you can do, and it's $370, you know?
Or less.
Or less. So, I mean, yeah, the world's a crazy place.
It's cool to say drive halfway across the country, but Vietnam's small. But
it's not that small, it's 2,000 kilometers.
you know, I can figure it out because I changed my oil the day before I left. I took a picture of my mileage, so I have my mileage.
Oh, let's work that out.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Okay, so we managed to work that out perfectly. Kyle took a picture of his mileage when he changed his oil right before he left, and after he changed it here in Da Nang. So it's the whole trip. And it was?
1,900 kilometers.
Yeah, oh, that's epic. That's like over 1,000 miles, right?
I believe it. That sounds correct.
No, it definitely is, because we did some serious deviations. So we know the mileage, and maybe what we'll do is just map out the routes on Google Maps and just show it here, so that if anyone wants to follow this route, they can. And I think it was a great route. I think just an alternative route to do next time is to go inland from Nha Trang and go to that little town. It's called something like Kom Tam. Not Kom
It's
Tam.
Kon Tom.
Kom Tom.
It's Kontum.
Okay, that one. Which is kind of like a mountainous town. So that would be cool. Next time I think maybe inland routes, and well, next time we are doing the Da Nang to Hanoi, Sapa, which goes inland. Apparently that route's also beautiful. So that's coming up. I don't know when, but it will happen. Cool, so I hope you enjoyed this series. It was a lot of fun to film, and I think that it came out really cool. We've released a couple of videos at this point in real time, but by the time this comes out, obviously they'll all be out. Yeah, now we headed back to Saigon, and if you've just recently found this channel, we have a lot of videos about teaching English and life in Vietnam, and our company Ninja Teacher actually helps people come get trained to be English teachers and find jobs. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. But over the next few months, we're going to be making more videos about the team and what we're up to, and we've got some cool projects coming up, which is pretty exciting. So it's me, Kyle, Miranda, Eddie, and Angie on the team, and you'll be seeing more of them in upcoming episodes, as well as more of our teachers and more of the city life of Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.